Welcome back. In this tutorial we're going to learn how I got from this solid filled glyph to this outline glyph here. And then we're going to learn something just a little bit more complex, and that is how to add a dot and some arrows to the outline glyphs. So to begin with, before we do anything, we need to install a tool called Noodler. And we do that through the plugin manager. Start typing the word noodle and you'll see Noodler will pop up. Hit install, mine's already installed, and then restart your Glyphs app. Once you restart it, you will have Noodler in your filter menu. So let's continue with where we left off. The semi-cursive I've marked in blue so we don't get confused, that's SS01. And then the dotted fonts that we created in the last tutorial are SS03. And so now we're going to make our SS02 set, which will go in between these two. So to begin with, we are going to just apply the noodle tool to just one glyph, just so you can see how it's done. And then we will apply it as a batch. So the first thing we want to do is select all of the glyphs that we're going to outline. And that is going to be all of those. And I'm going to fast forward this video to having selected everything that I want to include. Once I have them all selected, I want to duplicate them. Going to the glyphs menu, duplicate the glyphs, and then I want to change their name. Find and replace. The default duplication name is 001, and I want to switch it to stylistic set number 2. So we will replace them all, and I'm going to make these dark green so we can see them aside of the other things that we've been working on. As you can see, I have a set of numbers, and I've got a number of punctuation marks and so on that I would like to include. Now we're going to apply the Noodler to just one character, and then we'll go through and show you how to do a batch of characters all at once. So first of all, we go into our character, and we don't need our master's view. We can turn that off. And we don't necessarily need to see our bold in the background, so we'll turn that off as well. And what we're going to do here is select everything and apply path and remove overlap. The reason we're doing that is if I put the noodler on here now, what we'll see is it's going to noodle all of the joins that we don't want noodled. We just want our outline. So if we remove all of the overlaps, we end up with a single shape. Select it again and apply the noodler, and there we have our nice single shape. 15 is the thickness between this line and this line, so that's the thickness of the black in between. And if you want to add extremes and inflections, you can, but you already have quite a few discrepancies between your two masters, so I'm not going to add the extremes and inflections. I'm going to leave that out. Now it's totally up to you what you're doing, what your character design is, but for this character design we don't need to do that. So now we're going to hit the noodle button and that applies it. Now we're going to go to the bold master and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to remove the overlaps and then apply the noodler, like so. Now we see this red line up here. Now if you're familiar with working with masters, then you already know what that red line is. And you look over here, there's also a little red corner, which is telling us the same thing as the red line. It's telling us that our masters don't match. And so we need to clean up a little bit. Because I've done this with so many, I've got 5 font sets that I'm doing all of these operations with. So because I've done this quite a few times, I know pretty much what the problems are, but sometimes it can just take a little bit to work out where the issues actually are. Alright, they all look like the match. So the other option will be to turn on our compatibility master and see if things, oh here we go, see these 2 lines are crossed over? They are not matching what they should. There we go. Now the red line is gone and the little red corner is gone, and so that those 2 masters now match. Now I'm going to show you how to apply this in a batch rather than doing it one single glyph at a time. So you will select all of the glyphs that you want to apply it to, and you would go through and select, all of your glyphs again. When you have everything selected, repeat the process, but you do have to clean up between the 2, otherwise you end up with way too many extra points to try and track down. So what I'm going to do first is remove the overlap on my regular master, and then I'm going to switch to my bold master, and I'm going to remove the overlap on my bold master. Now you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 glyphs that have issues. So you want to go in and fix those issues. Make all your regular and bold masters match again. And then once you've done that, pretend I've done those because for the sake of the exercise, select the glyphs that you want to apply the noodler to, and then filter, noodler. You need to apply it to both your regular and your bold master. Filter, noodler. And then again you want to go and clean up all the issues that it created along the way. And that's how you create your outlines. Next we will go through how to add the arrows. But first we want to add the stylistic set 2 to our font exports. So we'll go to our font information, features, and just hit the update button, and it will fill in the stylistic set that you just created for you. When we go through and create the arrows, we will be writing some of this by hand, but it is very, very simple because it has a context menu that drops open and lets you choose what needs to go in there. So it's not as complex as it seems to be. What it's saying here is sub for substitute. Substitute the letter A, so you see here the letter A, by A.SSO2. Very simple. So when we look at these characters, let's get that down to viewable size. When we look at the characters and then we turn to our features, to look at SSO2, there it is there. And that's what these substitutions are saying. So we would take our normal character A, see it says our A, substitute A by A.SSO2, that's that character. That's what the substitute code is saying, and we're going to learn how to do that to apply our arrows shortly.